You're listening to the Occupational Philosophers with Simon Banks and John Rice.
And welcome to another episode of the Occupational Philosophers, a not-so-serious business podcast to spark creativity, curiosity, and imagination. And look, this week we have a Inbetweener episode, a little short, sharp bite of goodness to kick off your week, or depending where it lands in the week, get over the hump day of the week with a little ray of sunshine in a short, sharp, consumable way that won't take too much time. How does that sound, John?
It would have been a lot shorter if you hadn't just been wittering on for the last minute, saying how short it's going to be.
Yeah, I did that last time as well. But anyway, John, your head looks like it's got some thoughts in it. So, what's our little show?
Let me spill the thoughts out of my shaggy head. You could see here, I've been reflecting further on the festival that I recently attended. I mentioned this before. It was a festival called Wilderness in the Cotswolds.
Okay.
It's a really posh festival. It has a Veuve Clicquot tent, and I think if you shouted out Hugo, half the audience would turn round. Hello, it's me. Did someone shout your name, Hugo? What's that, Monty? Tell Felix to come along quickly with the rest of the champagne canapes. So yes.
No. Lots of people have a hyphenated last name.
Now, look, we don't want an inverted snobbery here, but yes, you get the picture. There was lots of lovely, beautiful people with hyphenated names.
What do you call it when you tie the jumper over your shoulders?
Yeah.
Like you just tie it around your neck.
Yeah. There was a bit of that style being shown off, and pink chinos and stuff like that. Anyway, right. Look,
okay.
We can't diss it anymore. It was a wonderful experience, and it did have me reflect on just what it is that's so great about those festivals that I enjoy from a curiosity, creativity, and imagination perspective that we might sort of think about within our own lives, or whether that's personal or professional work lives. But so,
on that note, do you find it's hard to go anywhere now and not look at things through that lens?
How do you mean?
Well, when I went to New York, I just kept thinking, oh my God, I was maybe too curious. My mind couldn't rest.
It was a sensory overload. I had to lie down in my tent for most days for about an hour just to sort of, calm myself down. So because we're keeping it short and sharp.
Yes,
what did I love about the
that.
festival? What did it make me think about what people could do with this kind of experience? So first off, I mean, you've got a chance to try stuff. There's always free workshops and sessions. So, you can do gong bath or breathworks or spin plates with the circus troupe or something like whatever it is. Or you could try your hand at doing some singing, or you could do yoga. So there was always lots of stuff on offer, and it was just that ability, not just stimulus, but the idea that you could try something that you might be quite crap at.
I love this notion of you have the ability, whether you're you might call it a safe space or whatever it is, to try something. And because you're in that environment, who's going to be good at plate spinning the first time? Like no one. Okay. Oh, that's my guess. Unless you go, oh my God.
Who would have guessed?
I can't believe this. And everyone just goes, oh, we found the one.
Yes, I'm going to run away and join the circus. I'm done.
He's been spoken about. Anyway, but that ability to go, I will not succeed at this the first time, but that is okay.
That's it. So you could make a fool of yourself and you just chuck yourself in. So that was the first thing, trying stuff.
Yeah.
You're just inspired at every turn because you're just seeing wonderful performance and dancers and singers and artists and, as I say, circus troupes and entertainment just from every direction. And you're just looking at it and go, wow, what people bring to life is incredibly inspiring. Makes you want to sort of maybe do something of your own to say, maybe I ought to pick up the paintbrush again, or actually write that poem that's been sort of dog-eared notebook at the back of the shed. Yeah. You're immersed. There's a real sense of immersion. So for 3 days, I didn't see any news. I didn't see any email. I didn't look at anything other than what was in front of me. So I was just immersed in it. So all distractions were put aside and you're in that bubble. And there was something wonderful about that.
So possibly in that we often speak around with the big M, or Mihai Csikszentmihalyi, the father of flow. Being in that zone where things start to, you lose distraction. You lose distraction, which is generally your phone or something.
So that was a big part of it. Connection.
on that, just want to think about it. I did a program recently, and part of that program was outdoors for the day, and like immersion in the wilderness was around sustainability. And one of the things wasn't my call, one of the sponsor of the program, everyone had to give him their mobile phone at the beginning of the day. And he sent it out beforehand. He said, look, if anyone needs to contact you, tell them they just contact me tomorrow. And so it wasn't like you can't, for emergencies, this is your emergency contact number for me. And everyone loved it. Yeah, there was no phones for the day, and everyone got it back at 5 o'clock.
Your mind goes to a different place when you're in a bubble.
Yeah.
There was lots of random conversations, partly fueled by drink, but you would sort of connect with people
and other stuff
by the dance tent, and you'd suddenly they'd be your best mates for those 3 days. But lots of random connections and conversations, so that was great. Talks you had in amongst it, you had people sort of sharing their expertise. We had talks by Richard Dawkins came along, so you learn stuff and you get a chance to ask questions. So you're curious because you're invited to ask questions, and that's a big part of those talks in like almost the round forum tent. You're invited in to sort of build your understanding of something. And it's
like come in with an open mind.
Yeah.
Come with an open mind. Let this information flow.
Most people are sort of coming to understand and build understanding around some of those topics that have been shared. And it's just a multi-sensory explosion. You've got the food and the smells and the taste and the sounds and visuals. It's got everything. So you come away from that, I think, quite inspired and full. You're filled up by the end of it, undoubtedly. So how can you take this into an organization? So I think we were saying about, buy a marquee, put it up in the lobby.
Put it up on floor 12.
With some
give out a bunch of free beers and get a DJ.
That's it. DJ on the roof, or the roof terrace, or the car park, wherever.
That's the end of the show. Yeah. That's the end of the show. As always.
Done. No, I think we were saying maybe it's something that organisations could think about in terms of the way they run events or offsites or anything which is bringing people together. How can you actually bring some of the festival vibe that then has people go away feeling inspired, having been immersed, having made connections, having been curious? I'm sure you can set these things up very differently.
And I think we often get into, well, that's the way it's always been done. So we'll do it this way, which is you have a guest speaker, not knocking guest speakers, especially if it's me. Have a guest speaker, you do a bit of, admin type presentations, like a bit of, state of the nation, all that type of stuff. Then you have a fun event in the afternoon. Imagine if all of those things were part of the one of the same or something. So the fun started straight away. The inspiration was dotted throughout. And what I like is at a festival, you can wander.
Yeah.
So you might go, there's one, you've got your own timetable. So I really like this idea of, there's 10 things happening on the day. You just need to choose 3 or 4 or something like that. And again, that happens already, but there might be 10 different talks at the same time and it's still the same talk. So how can you create those experiences where there's something different, sensorial happening as well? And look, we've been apart for so long. How can you say, look, when you come back to that, whatever that is, let's play around with this sort of space. And I love this one idea. We're going to create a safe space for you to try new things. But it's okay that you won't be good at it the first time you try. I think there's some really nice pieces here.
People could just play with that, but there's a couple of watchwords here. Don't install a trapeze in the office. Okay, that could be dangerous. And make sure that one of the workshops isn't juggling with chainsaws. Not that you'd have chainsaws at the office, unless you were a lumberjack.
Especially if the bar has opened early. Yeah, lumberjack convention. Here we go.
And on floor 7, Kevin in accounts will be doing axe throwing. On the hour, every hour. Poor old Kevin.
Poor Kev. So look, I think there's some nice little bits there, John. Just think around that next get together, that next catch up, and you might be going, got a half-hour meeting, going to turn into a festival. Doof, doof, doof. Whoop, whoop. Big Johnny style. Here we go. Whoop, whoop. So there might be a little bit of sarcasm floating through your head.
Of course.
I appreciate it. But I think there's something there where you can test, experiment, learn. And I think, John, your point was you left there feeling inspired. So the conversation would be, let's make it a human-centered conversation, not how do I make this a great conference? Don't focus on the product. A better question could be, how do I ensure that people leave feeling inspired, creative, random? I mean, they've connected and all those different things. So rephrase that question might be a nice way to think about it. All right. So, John, that's us.
That's a wrap.
Festival Inbetweener's over. So, as always, what happens next?
People need to have fun, stay curious, play more, make stuff, and date life.